How are you doing, Brett? Tell us a story.
Oh, all right.
Once upon a time.
You want to hear about the time I almost got on Jeopardy, but definitely did not get on Jeopardy?
Well, I mean, I could have told you definitely didn't get on Jeopardy.
I got really close one time, but then I made a real bonehead mistake in the audition, and that was basically it for me. And then I kind of crushed. I've always wanted to be on Jeopardy. It's a lifelong dream of mine.
When you say bonehead mistake, were you like on the wrong side of the podium? Yeah. Like,
no, I got past the online quiz. I did well enough in the online quiz that I went to like an in-person audition to be on Jeopardy. It was like in a hotel down by the airport here in Los Angeles, and they bring you all into this one room.
This was not a Jeopardy audition, Brett.
Ah, shit.
I'm so sorry to tell you.
Take an online quiz.
Yeah, we met in a hotel room down by the airport.
Yeah,
so survey, less of a quiz. It's just more of a survey that I filled out.
Let's take that shirt off. Let's take that shirt off. All right. Look, you want to be on Jeopardy, don't you? You want to be on Jeopardy? Yeah. We got to make sure you're ripped. Come on. Let's take that shirt off. Now I'll ask you a couple questions. What's 2 plus 2? Guy's snapping away. He's like, "Oh yeah, you want some Jeopardy questions? Yeah. Well, how many states are there in America?" Not in the form. They're all questions. Like
these are all questions. They're not
Jeopardy
answered.
Rules.
That's what tips Brett off.
Yeah.
Instead of, I love it that he's like, let's get that shirt off, or like, let's get those pants off, guy.
Right. Well, come on, relax, buddy, relax. Look, if you're gonna be on Jeopardy, you got to be relaxed. We got to make sure you're a cool customer. Let's take those slacks off.
Let's get those slacks off.
Let's get those slacks off. Now, I'll ask you some questions while we're doing it. Like, what's your favorite color?
And Brett's like, what is pink? And he's like, oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then he starts asking Brett to like start doing yoga.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, all right, let's see downward facing dog.
Let's see some moves. Come on. Do some boxing. Do a little shadow boxing for me, man.
Can you touch your toes, Brett?
Yeah. Do some stretches. Yeah. Now relax. Yeah, and like, who's the president?
He comes back, he like leaves for a second, and Brett's like, I think I got this. And he comes back with a hula hoop and he throws it, and he's like, hula hoop time.
Yeah, hula hoop. Now let's get this hula hoop going. And Brett's like, he's like, who's the president? Brett's like, who is Joe Biden? He's like, I don't know. I don't know who Joe Biden is. Who is that? Why are you asking me questions? I'm the host here. You answer my questions.
Keep hooping.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, keep spinning. Yeah. Hey, you want to cool down with a shower?
And then he takes out a hose.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for Jeopardy.
He takes out his spray bottle and he just starts spritzing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
While he's hula hooping.
Yeah. Kind of missed you a little bit.
Let's get you.
Yeah, Brad, I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Or good news. Maybe that was not bad news.
What happened once you were in the hotel room?
All right. So once I was in, it was a big conference room. They auditioned like 20 people at a time. And they were like, we're just going to start off with an icebreaker. We're going to go around and ask some easy questions. Just raise your hand if you know the answer. Well, it's just an icebreaker, just to get everybody kind of comfortable. They're like, they said this is not being judged. They're like, this isn't being judged. It's just a, icebreaker. So they start asking questions. All the questions are pretty easy. I'm raising my hand. I'm not getting called on. Raising my hand, not getting called on. Everybody's getting nobody's missed a question yet. Everybody has just gotten it on the first try.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed though because I'm trying to play, the mental game out of this too. So I've noticed that the questions have started to get harder as they've gone along. So I'm like, okay, they're getting more difficult as the more questions they ask. And so they ask this question. They go, there's this famous gym on the Paramount Studio lots that has been used by that is commonly used by big Hollywood stars such as Julia Roberts, Tom Cruise, and this star of Forrest Gump. And I raised my hand and they called on me, and I literally was just about to say, Tom Hanks, which is the obvious answer to that question. But in the back of my head, for some reason, I got all these wheels started turning, and I was like, oh, what if this is like, that's too easy. I know they said these were easy, but they've kind of started to get harder. So what if this is like, what if it isn't Tom Hanks, it's somebody else? Yeah. What if it's somebody else in Forrest Gump? And I'm thinking about all this fast. And then I shouted out, I go, Gary Sinise. And they,
so you didn't answer in the form of a question even.
I didn't even answer in the form of a question. I just shouted out Gary.
You just screamed Gary Sinise. And
Gary Sinise!
Like when you cut it all out, it like 1,000 things happened in my head within the span of a second. But if you cut all that out and you're just watching it, they're basically like, who's the star of Forrest Gump? And this guy shouts out Gary Sinise.
He's the star to me.
And everything, the room kind of like literally went sort of, the room got confused for a second. Everybody was sort of, because it was literally like rapid fire, like question, answer, correct. And then suddenly someone got one wrong.
Yeah.
And so everyone's looking at me.
In the form of a question.
Not even in the form of a question. But they got to get the right answer before they move on. So they're like, no, that's not it. And then they're like, does anybody else know? And so some guy raises his hand and he's like, Tom Hanks? And they're like, yeah, it's Tom Hanks. And so, and then,
Brett.
It was really,
Oh.
it was humiliating. And I feel like they said they weren't scoring that, but I could tell everyone's kind of looking at me. Like there was a lot of other stages after that to the audition, but I could tell they were just doing it they were letting me participate just to go through the motions. But you could tell when it was my turn to come up for the next thing. So they're like, oh, here's this Gary Sinise guy.
Yeah, they're like, the next round is you wait in your car.
Yeah, next round. Hey, you. Why don't you cut up some sandwiches for everybody? Why don't you whip us up?
Cut up
Why don't
these
you run down to the coffee shop downstairs? Get me a latte. What is and say like this drink is available in the hotel lobby, and I'd like one. What is a latte?
This drink is what I want and what I'm asking you to get me.
Yeah.
It's made with espresso and milk, and it's available downstairs at Starbucks.
Were you worried that they were going to say like, all right, here's your next question, and then somebody would go like, and it's not going to be Gary Sinise, and everybody in the room would go, ho, 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 ho.
The rest of the audition had that vibe. There weren't any moments explicitly like that, but there was this general, just sort of like I could feel that energy in the room of like,
been
this
shut
is the
out.
Yeah. And honestly, everybody else relaxed after that because they're like, well, this guy's
not going to be worse
put his
than
foot
this
in it.
weirdo.
Yeah. So now it's like the bar has been set for how it's not going to get worse than that.
Oh, Brett. Oh, dear sweet Brett.
Look, I don't regret it because here's the thing: if it had been Gary Sinise,
Yeah.
then suddenly I look like a damn genius. So because it in that case it would have been a trick, sort of a trick question. So
To be fair, what kind of Jeopardy question is like, where does Gary Sinise work out?
Yeah,
I mean, that's sort of what
this famous gym on the Paramount lot has been used by Tom Cruise, Julia Roberts, and this star of Forrest Gump. What a dumb question.
it is.
Thank you. It was
That's
a very
on that.
dumb
No, it
question.
is. It is a dumb question. Or
And I'd like to
answer.
I'd like to repeat. I knew the answers to every other question that got asked. I just didn't, and I knew who the damn star of Forrest Gump is. I just got my head about it, and I went for a high risk, high reward, answer.
You
and I said
shot
Gary
your.
Sinise.
What is it? People like saying that. You shoot your shot. You shot your shot.
I shot my shot.
When did people start saying that? I don't like it.
I don't know.
Hamilton?
Is that like post? Yeah, it might be a Hamilton thing.
Yeah. Well, Brett, Gary Sinise was in Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And so is Sally Field, which is what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Could have. Also a great answer.
The answer was Gary Sinise. They would have driven you right to the lot.
Yeah.
They would have said, all right, you make the cut.
Alex
You're on tonight.
Alex Trebek would have come in like the Kool-Aid man. He would have just broken through the wall and like
And he would have been
extended
like-
his hand to you.
He would have been
And you would get on his shoulders. He'd give you a horsey back ride.
he would have broken through the wall and said, what is, oh yeah.
And then he would adopt you. He'd be like, I'm your new dad.
Or what if they have it set up that like when they have like like Alex Trebek was back there waiting for somebody to kill it, and then they go, all right, here's the next question for the room. This popular beverage mascot is known for breaking through walls, and then suddenly it's like then the wall gets broken through, and then it's what is oh yeah. Well, that's not even a
this
question.
is the catchphrase. The Kool-Aid Man is best known for exclaiming this catchphrase when he breaks through walls.
Then the wall gets broken through, and it's Alex Trebek, and he goes, "What is oh yeah?"
And he's covered with red Kool-Aid, but everyone thinks it's blood.
Yeah. Boop boop boop. Boop boop boop.
What's that?
That's the Jeopardy sound. Boop boop boop. Right, Brett?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
When you rose your,
you didn't get
you had to raise your
experience
hand
that,
and you go boop boop boop. Boop boop
I
boop.
should have. I might have gotten on.